Okay, we're going to be working on the Samsung A13. We're going to be changing out the screen and we're going to be changing out charging port. Grab a couple of these guitar picks. Alright, so let's go ahead and take this device apart. Go ahead and show you. Can't even see the screen. Completely damaged. So let's go ahead and get inside the device. You can use something like a very sharp blade to begin the process, but I wouldn't stick it in too deep as you can cause damage to internal components, and you can also damage up the frame a little bit. I'm not too worried about damaging the screen itself just because the screen's going to be replaced, but I do want to take care and be mindful of other components on here. We got the plastic pry tool, guitar pick. Can begin to go around the device. Starts to pop out just like so. You want to make sure that you don't go in too deep, like I said, because you can damage either cables or buttons, and then you got a whole nother repair on your hands. There we go. You do want to be careful because there is a cable right underneath the cameras, and you do want to be mindful of the SIM card tray. Go ahead and take that out. Okay, we got a couple of screws in here that we need to remove. They're all going to be Phillips head. They all appear to be about the same size. However, it's always good and safe to take the precautionary measures to make sure that we don't get them mixed up. There's a top cover there, and it does look like we have some water damage here as well. So now that we have it open, okay, let's go ahead and unplug the power, and then we can go ahead and unplug the bottom portion here. Go ahead and remove this bottom portion there. Can unplug this. Very carefully unplug the antennas. These are not to be pulled out, transferred over. We do have to get this out to be able to get the bottom speaker out. So there's just that. And from down here, all we need is this bottom speaker. So what we can do is put a little bit of isopropyl alcohol, and then might as well add it to around the battery as well, as this is going to begin to soften up that adhesive that's underneath the battery. Okay, now let's go ahead and work on this top board. You got a screw up here holding that top board in. I know that the front camera sometimes is a little stuck on there, so well, this one looks like it's been removed in the past, but normally they put a little bit of adhesive around it to make sure that the camera doesn't move anywhere. But I think I was told that this screen has already been replaced once. So we'll go ahead and move that top board over. We also need to get a hold of this speaker here. So very carefully. Let's make sure that it doesn't already come with it. Get our service pack screen. This is going to be the new screen here that we're replacing it with. It was pretty much identical. got the same codes and everything. So I was told that this one's going to be an international screen, and that's why he was having some technical difficulties, but it doesn't look like that's the case here. So we are going to remove this speaker here. Try to get under it without damaging it. These tweezers are ESD safe, which right now at this case it's not a big deal because we're not having electricity run through it, but it's always good to either use plastic or ESD safe tools and equipment. So we got that up and out. We did get a little bit of alcohol on here, so we want to use an air can and kind of dry it up. Even though alcohol is safe around electronics, isopropyl alcohol, we do want to make sure that it goes in dry, and it also allows whatever adhesive is still on there to be put back in its place. Now the last thing that we're going to transfer over from here is going to be the battery, and I'm going to do that in just a minute. I want to grab the board and reinstall it, and then we'll put the top camera last. So we're going to run this wire down, put the white one on top, put in the top speaker. So let's go ahead and pick up this board. We're going to put this top speaker in. It's a little dirty, so we're going to clean it out. And it should make contact right underneath this board here. The single screw that holds in the board back. We can now remove this. We'll go ahead and grab our front facing camera. Put that back in there. Let's go ahead and replace the board, the charging board here. So this is the one that we have, and this is the one that we may be using. Yep, everything looks to line up and match up just fine. So we're going to go ahead and place that back in its spot. Let's go ahead and put the single screw that holds it in place. Sorry guys, I didn't even realize it was out of frame. Put that in its place. We're going to reconnect that antenna. Get this antenna out of the way so we can reconnect that. Make sure those antennas are making good connection there. We're gonna put this, tuck it into the canal here so it doesn't come loose. Make sure it's making a good connection up top. And we're almost there, guys. Pretty much almost there. Now all we need, and go ahead and put this bottom portion in. Okay, so now comes the most difficult part of this entire repair, and it's going to be this battery. These batteries are incredibly difficult to remove, but luck be it that I guess the other technicians that were in here, yeah, see, there's a whole bunch of pry damage here. You got to be careful where you guys go. There's a bunch of pry damage along the battery. You want to keep this thing as uniform and as straight as possible. They did a good job of keeping it straight, but they did pry on it kind of aggressively. But let's go ahead and dry it up, because it does have so I'm going to be using some of these extra iPhone battery stickers, whatever you like to call them, on here. Yeah, sure, it's not going to be OEM, but the whole objective here is to have it to be stuck onto the phone itself. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and connect the battery first and make sure it's got a good connection. Very carefully insert that, wiggle it, make sure it's in place, and then we can go ahead and disconnect the battery once again. Plug in the screen along with the bottom portion of the board. Put this on, and then we do have to actually connect the portion of the, okay guys, so do some testing before we finish closing it back up. We're gonna go ahead and connect go ahead and disconnect our power. We're gonna connect our home button real quick. And we're not gonna close it up entirely. This is just gonna be so we can test to see if the device turns on. Already getting some power. Samsung Galaxy. Okay, so it's not letting us turn it off without the passcode, so we're gonna go ahead and just disconnect that. The battery. And the very last portion of this, it's gonna be this top cover here. Okay, let's go ahead and connect the power. Power is connected. Okay, let's go ahead and plug in the power button. Everything should kind of just clip in place all the way around, just like that. We're going to give our SIM card tray, put that in there, and that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and turn it on, and we're just going to verify that the charging is working as well. Fast charging, and that's it. That is how you fix a Samsung A13 screen. But besides that, that's gonna be pretty much it for today's repair. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys have a repair like this or any questions, please feel free to reach out in the description box below or in the comment section. We'll try to reach back out to you as soon as we can, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace. Don't forget, if you guys need any parts like this or any of the parts that you saw throughout this video, make sure to check out the description box below, where we're gonna leave some links for you guys where you guys can get parts for yourselves.